I've never met one priest who has performed an exorcism. Not one.
You son of a bitch.
I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
I'm here with the Dad Man, aka the Dadvastator.
Hi.
He's been called much worse. We're here to bring to you our most iconic / favorite horror heroes / horror protagonists.
I would prefer if you probably did some more preparation than I did. Mm-hmm. So
I'll throw 5 at you.
Yeah, and then we'll discuss them and talk about them and so forth. Some will come to me, and I have some, but
one of the 5 is my top. I'll disclose that after we discuss each. Okay?
Sure.
One of them, Dr. Loomis. I've been watching a ton of Halloween. He's in like the first 4 or 5, I think. Can't remember off the top of my head. But he is the guy who drops a lot of the memorable lines of that series.
You mean Donald Pleasant?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, he was one of them. Because I just watched, that was weird, we just watched Halloween for the first time in a long time a couple nights ago. And I agree. He was the only star in the first one.
I can believe that. I feel like Jamie Lee Curtis probably got put on the map because of that
Absolutely.
film.
She's somebody's, she's a famous actress's daughter.
Okay.
But she had no, that may have been one of her first or second, and she starred in it, but she was nobody. She was a nobody prior to that.
It is, so, and I feel like at this point, if some of you watching this are horror fans and maybe you're more familiar with the most recent trilogy and also Jamie Lee Curtis's accolades that she's had later in her career, such as winning a Best Supporting Actress.
For what? I didn't know.
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
She was in that?
She was, yeah.
Oh, okay.
She won Best Supporting Actress in that. You're probably like, why isn't she chosen? Well, starters,
actually, she is. I thought both of
were.
them. Yeah, but go ahead. Yeah.
Well, she's good. And she's definitely, when it comes to heroines, that's what you call the female heroes, which not sure why we can't just use heroes for...
I think they do now. They don't use heroin anymore because that's kind of confusing.
Well, it's very addictive too. And that's and she's good in the first. Definitely good in the first. Okay, I'm not going to say she's not. But if it comes down to me, you got to go Donald Pleasance. I just like that type of character, and he has magnetism. Not a magnetism. No, he has a weight to the lines he delivers.
Yeah,
he's the only one who knows the true horrors that are in store, and Jamie Lee Curtis is just exposed to it out of nowhere. She doesn't even know who Michael Myers is or what he is until it is upon her. Right. And that leads to a very good performance by her, and I by no means am trying to dismiss that, but I just really think that's an interesting character, and I think Donald Pleasance absolutely maximizes every minute.
Yeah, it was important to have him in there because she did a serviceable job, even beyond, more than that. But they needed someone like him who represented or let you know how evil he is. So he was almost a hype man for Michael Myers as far as how because we only see him in the beginning. Mm-hmm. We know he's probably
messed up.
Yeah. But this is how many years later? 15, I think, is they actually say how many years.
Yeah.
In later movies, do they disclose that Michael Myers is their brother and sister?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the worst things they've done for the series.
Well, I'm
just going to say that now. So, we got all the Halloween people listening, ears peaked, and Rob Zombie...
That's a good reveal, though. That's a good reveal.
It's
I don't
interesting at the end of 2, okay?
Yeah.
Where it's it's near the end and it's that's why he's been after her this whole time.
Yeah.
Okay? But then you have like 3 or 4 more movies that are involved with that just keep perpetuating that's a huge plot point instead of it was just used as like, oh, this is the cool reveal for this.
Right. You can't kick the, it's after a while it completely loses its allure, and then you just continue, and after a while it's like, look, we used it in a movie and it was a good reveal, but we can't milk this to its dry with
Turn this thing off, I'm dry!
apparently they did.
Yeah, and you can't over-explain, you can't overexpose what Michael Myers is, because the more you explain it, the more you take out of the imagination of the viewer what he can be.
The blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
He is so scary because
He's unknown.
Yeah, he represents the boogeyman for you, your boogeyman, and he represents my boogeyman at the same time in one. Yeah. But then you have Rob Zombie, and now I'm just completely... We lost the train on this episode. We'll get back, but I have to go on this rant. Okay.
You don't like that?
I don't dislike it. It's good. The violence is amazing. They make Michael Myers this super big, imposing threat.
Yeah.
Very menacing. But they want to show you who he was as a kid, what his family was like. They perpetuate the Laurie Strode being his sister plotline, which is like, I don't want to know why he's going after her. I just want to leave it like he went after his sister, and it must have something to do with that. Like maybe she reminds him of his sister, or maybe it's just women in general.
And she's a prototypical woman, his sister. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Who knows? I mean, I can't believe how much mileage they got out of Halloween. My God, it's an industry.
Well, David Gordon Green tried his best to kill it, and maybe he succeeded. I mean, they pulled him off the Exorcist project.
Exorcist believer?
He was
got
the
rid of
direct
him?
after that. Yeah, it was, and that was the right choice.
You can't. I mean, you told me how much they paid for the IP on that, and
You gotta maximize your dollars.
well, that's too much. I mean, I'm so what 400 million? Is that what you said, or 200 million?
That sounds right. I remember us discussing it. I don't remember the figure off the top of my head, though.
I mean,
it could potentially make that back, but you
overseas.
have to. Well, here's the thing. I don't really know how well horror movies translate overseas. I feel like domestic is where you're going to make the most of your money.
On horror movies, yeah, probably. Now, I think I've mentioned this. Like Transformers, for instance. People wonder, like, why do they make these terrible movies?
China.
Well, not just China, but Asia in general. They love them.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, we won't make money in the United States, but send it overseas, we'll make bank.
And that's why you
movies.
Can't talk about Taiwan in
Yeah.
your movies. John Cena had to apologize for just saying Taiwan is a country. But before I completely derail this, I think Donald Pleasance is a tremendous character.
He's a hero for sure. Yeah.
He's amazing. Let me throw another one at you. You're either gonna say, Taco, you're a genius, or
You're not a genius.
yeah, one of the two. Blade.
Blade. Ready to die.
I was born ready, motherfucker.
Yeah. I mean, he's the horror hero.
He's a badass.
Yeah.
And everyone wants a,
He's a monster superhero. That's who that character is.
I mean, he literally is a Marvel IP, so I mean, he is a superhero. But for me, Blade Trinity solidified it when he was asked by Dracula, the original vampire. I don't know if you remember Trinity. Shout out to Triple H, who was in that movie, by the way.
I kind of remember him. He was pretty good. I mean, he played a really good character, at least one that looked like he belonged in that universe.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds was in it. I know you have a love affair with him as well. But, anywho,
Yeah.
Dracula.
Yeah.
He said, "Blade, are you ready to die?" And he said,
I was born ready, motherfucker.
"I was born ready, motherfucker." And I was like, that is as badass as it gets.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's just cool. He has the look. He's Wesley Snipes he's a camera ready kind of action star.
God. Hey, so are they doing another Blade?
He was in Wolverine and Deadpool. So they had
As Blade?
As Blade.
Okay.
Part of the movie was they somehow, Deadpool and Wolverine got sent to a planet that's like the trash heap of the universe.
Okay.
And a lot of the old abandoned Marvel characters end up there. And Blade was there. So it's like a meta commentary on these forgotten superheroes because we haven't had a Blade since like 2006.
I think he went to jail for tax evasion, didn't he? I
And
think
you
that was
know
a big
what?
thing happening here.
I think he should have got let off. They punished too strictly on that.
I think in this case they did because the guy disappeared for 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of my favorite actors, and then all of a sudden it's like he didn't pay his income. So, okay, so what? People do bad things all the time. Fine them, you know. And he probably got blacklisted because of that, and that's why he wasn't in movies. I don't know if he went to prison, but I think he got hit real super hard with tax evasion.
I think he went for like a couple years. But I mean, this country was built on not paying taxes.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's how we gained our independence. People said, I'm
not paying a stamp tax. Nope, not me.
So, but yeah, he's got the look, man. I know last time we discussed our video about our Mount Rushmore, everything was about the look with me.
Well, I mean, that might be at least half of it.
Yeah, if you got the charisma, which I think Wesley Snipes does, he looks badass. He's got the shades, all leather plaid, and he has a freaking samurai sword, which I like samurai movies now, so that makes it even cooler.
Yeah. Well, you know, he probably had the samurai sword because do you know about like how they're made? Samurai swords are like they're better than other swords. They keep reforging the steel used to make them so they're a lot stronger. And some of them are, well, and I only know this probably from Kill Bill.
Oh, okay.
Is they're like crazy valuable.
Yeah.
Because they're so well made, harder steel because they just keep reforging them. They'll take the metal and they fold it and they pound it down and reheat it. But I just wanted to bring that up about samurai swords. So obviously he's going to have the best type of sword, you know, because he's a hero. So
yeah, and it's a cool weapon for sure.
Yeah,
I like when you have an offensive hero, not offensive in that it offends you, but that
he's on the offense.
Exactly.
Right.
Next guy, and the biggest debate that I think is going to come out of this character.
Bruce Campbell.
Okay, we can go to that.
No, go to where you're going. I'm sorry.
He is going to be on my list. Just saying.
And that's going to be the argument.
We will argue it. But I'm going to say, in this one, the only argument that is to be had is this movie a horror movie? And the movie I'm talking about is Predator. The character I'm talking about is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Let's discuss. Is it horror?
No.
I think it has
sci-fi action.
It is sci-fi, okay, but Predator
let's say it is. Let's say, and that's we can do that. We don't have to be purists. Mm-hmm. Let's say it is, and
let's say hypothetically I included him, but also hypothetically maybe the reason that they hypothetically don't win is because it might hypothetically not be horror.
Yeah. Try to use that in a sentence more times than you just did. Hypothetically.
Horror.
All right, so yeah, if you consider it one, then definitely he's in for sure, no question.
Everyone in that movie's, to an extent, really entertaining, really badass, super
except
cool
the one
lines.
called Billy. You remember Billy had glasses?
Oh yeah, he tells the jokes. That's his character.
Yeah, they all have
he tells jokes.
Yeah, I liked. I didn't like Jesse Ventura. I didn't think he was that.
I thought he was awesome. I thought he was
the
awesome.
guy, the one. You know, one was Apollo Creed, and he was
he's just cool because he's Carl Weathers.
Yeah,
That's
Carl
why he's
Weathers
cool.
is cool for
He's
sure.
he's kind of the bad guy because he gets them into this.
He is the bad guy, yeah, because he
But
lied
you
to him about what the mission was.
You still like him though.
Yeah, I know you're right about that. But then another African American dude, I thought
Mac.
was really cool.
Yeah, he's dry shaving in the jungle.
Yes, and there's something about that scene.
And I'm surprised that
remember.
CCR hasn't made a song called "Dry Shaving in the Jungle" yet. They should.
I think they did. That's on the back side of a 45.
Okay.
What was the CCR song about the jungle?
Run
Just called
Through the Jungle.
Run Through the Jungle, which is a really cool
Great song.
Yeah.
I mean,
Did they play that during the movie?
I don't know. I can't remember the songs actually.
No, they didn't. I don't think that back then they didn't do that.
Yeah.
They just had their own score.
Yeah.
Which sometimes you can tell how old a movie is by the musical score. Mm-hmm. And
Well-
you're like, oh my god, that's awful.
Let me say this. I think Apocalypse Now came out before, and it had all the not prototypical, maybe.
This is the end by, and then
The Doors.
March of the Valkyrie.
Yeah.
Charge of whatever, but that wasn't the score. That's what they're playing.
But I think they also might have had some other shit. Anywho, that's like they made basically the soundtrack to Vietnam. It's to me, CCR.
Oh, yeah. Well, what other song did they have about Vietnam?
It's
You don't know any.
trying to think. Have you ever seen The Rain? I know is a CCR song, but
Okay, I don't know if it's about Vietnam or not.
Well, it rained a lot there. That's
it
what
rained
Forrest
here.
Gump said.
That's right. It rains a lot in Vietnam.
Let me talk about this though, because there is a tie-in when it comes. I know that Predator isn't a Vietnam movie, but I think they were trying to make commentary about Vietnam with it.
There's similarities because it's in the jungle and it's like a really raw, difficult mission, and
Yeah.
So maybe
What I like about it is there is some you can look at both sides through the eyes of America. America sending the special forces in, and also the Predator being foreign to the Earth into that jungle, and yet having the technological advantage. And when Schwarzenegger goes primitive is when he gets the advantage, a la the Viet Cong during the Vietnam War, when they start using booby traps in their environment to their advantage, is when they were able to kind of come to a stalemate with the American forces. That's how I looked at it.
Yeah, maybe that's a real stretch because they had these advantages from the beginning. They had tunnels under half the country.
And booby traps.
Well, they had a lot of booby traps, but and that really was a factor. But these guys would just show up because they had tunnels under everything.
They could traverse the territory. I mean, it was true home field advantage.
Oh, absolutely.
We're not talking Arrowhead. We're not talking Happy Valley type of home field advantage. We're talking
Vietnam type.
the Vietnam jungle.
Right.
And these viewers, we gotta inform them. We gotta let them know about the bigger picture, how the movies
'cause
we're
they don't
talking
know.
about apply to.
They're not very bright if we're listening to this. I'll say that. But so it's incumbent upon us.
To inform them.
Correct.
Yeah. So drop a like and subscribe if you do enjoy these discussions. I hope you do, because I enjoy getting to not only talk to you, Dad Man.
But to the people.
Yeah, I like sharing this space and being able to talk movies with them when they comment. Like, I liked this movie. I would have included X, Y, and Z. I appreciate that. If you have something negative to say,
No, here you mentioned one guy said you guys don't know what you're talking when you got a comment. That's fine. I mean, it's better to have someone comment negatively than not listen or not comment at all, honestly. Mm-hmm. But I would also say if you don't agree, or if you say you guys don't know what you're talking about, just tell us what your opinion is.
Because other people
Because that's fine. That's to disagree. I absolutely fine.
You might inform us and other people who watch the video.
There might be like a whole genre or subgenre of horror movie we don't even know about, and you're saying you guys are missing the boat completely because you're, focused on more mainstream or well-known horror movies. But there's, like, I know the Koreans, for instance, or I think, are very, very good at horror.
Japanese is really good.
Japanese, I know.
And then just in general, South Korea has they have very good movies. They make very good movies.
Just in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like Ring and The Grudge are all Japanese IPs.
Yeah.
And then South Korea recently won a Best Picture with Parasite, so they just have good movies.
Well, yeah, you have to. I mean, it's not a big country. It's not like well known for entertainment. South Korea. I mean, it's becoming that, but it's not like England or France or Germany. It's South Korea. It's an Asian country. It's halfway around the world, and it's winning a Best Picture in our country. So that's a big deal, I think.
I agree. Yeah. So look, Arnie is badass. I like Ventura because he says, "I ain't got time to bleed." That's a badass line.
The only reason I don't like him is something he did later in life, and I shouldn't.
The governor of Minnesota.
No. Do you remember the American Sniper?
Yeah.
The guy.
Oh, he
American
sued
Sniper,
the wife for defamation. Yeah, I remember that was a big thing.
And that doesn't affect how he did in that movie. I wonder how old he is now. Like,
man, he was with the WWF in the golden age.
Yeah, I know.
And he's older than Hogan, and Hogan is old.
Well, he was a Navy SEAL. You knew that.
Yeah, he was an underwater.
Well, that's what Navy SEALs started out. That's why they're called SEALs. They did underwater demolition.
Yeah, that's
stealth type work.
Pretty cool.
That's why they do a lot of water work in training. I mean, you do everything. So their roles expanded. I mean, but before, I think, and that's why they call them frogmen too,
because they're in the water a lot.
Yeah, I mean that's what you call somebody in a scuba outfit, a frogman.
Didn't know that. Yeah, hopefully the listeners learned something there too.
Yeah.
Next person, I think we would be beheaded or burned at the stake if we didn't mention. Maybe has the best argument to be one of the greatest female heroes of all time, and I'm talking about, of course, Sigourney Weaver from Alien.
Oh God, yeah.
Now, the picture that I have that is likely on the video and perhaps even the thumbnail is from Aliens. We're not talking about that. Alien is more horror based. Okay.
Aliens is a good movie.
It's more akin to Predator.
Yeah.
Probably the both in the same subgenre. But what's your take on?
Yeah, she's great. She's very good.
Yeah, one of the best female.
Yeah.
Leads.
Very strong female lead,
but believable.
Ridley Scott did that, right? So that's
correct.
Why.
Yeah.
I mean, his realism just helps so much in the whole movie, and she's really good. What was I going to say about her? I can't remember. Do you know what the tagline was for Alien?
They can't hear you scream in space.
Nobody can hear you scream in space.
I was close.
You were close. Do you remember from Aliens, Paxton? And
Game over,
lines?
man.
Yeah, that's right.
Game over, man. It's game over.
There's something about that, like he made that up or something like that. And then there's another line that's used today about utterly destroying something, and it's from that movie.
Mutual assured destruction.
No, it's called "Let's Just Nuke them from orbit."
Oh, okay.
And they're talking about, it's like,
we can't let this hit the.
Yeah, well, we got to get out of here and just destroy it, But the reason they don't do that is because that one dude is from the corporation, and they want the alien. They want a specimen or that species.
Yeah, because it's perfect.
Valuable for warfare and so forth.
Yeah. I mean, she comes across maybe one of the most formidable foes and is like a relatively, like a kind of a fish out of water. I mean, she's just a worker on the ship.
No, she's not. She's second in command.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why.
But she doesn't
made a
have
big
any
deal.
combat experience.
Well, they're not a combat. They're a miner. They're
That's
they're
what I'm
transporting
saying.
mining or
as far
minerals.
as
Yeah.
like fish out of water.
Okay, yeah. She's not equipped to take on.
So she has
Super
that
Predator.
arc where she goes from like, what am I doing here? And then
Yeah.
I'm fighting. It's the real David versus Goliath, and then becomes the badass that you can believe
Right.
can stand toe to toe. And it doesn't feel forced
Correct.
either. It wasn't like they went into that movie with the objective, we have to have a female lead who plays a
That was
strong
prior
character.
to all that, them doing that, where they're like putting a square woman in a round.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
just,
cool.
it was natural.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm all for that. I don't care if the lead is a man, a woman, a frog man, or a jellyfish. Okay, it's
Gotta
just make it good,
Right.
and don't like, because a lot of movies, you know this, are vehicles for the actor. This movie wasn't like, we need to make Sigourney Weaver a freaking action hero. It was like, hey, you're a really good actor, and this is a good role for you, and you just so happen to be the hero in this movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think they had plans like, if this goes well and we think it will, there's going to be more of these.
Yeah, but Ridley wasn't even the director on 2. It was James Cameron.
Well, yeah, because that happens a lot, though.
I know.
The original has it one act or one director, and then you go to another because it changes the way, or it's a different type of movie.
No, and completely see what you're saying, but Ridley Scott wasn't like, I want to make a series.
Oh, we
It's
don't.
like, I don't want to,
No, he. I mean, he's not that. He's not that actor or that director. He's original. He wants to do original material.
like Gladiator 2.
Gladiator 2?
That was
okay. Oh, that was a bad
That's a
joke.
joke, sorry.
Did he do Gladiator? Ridley Scott?
He did Gladiator, and he's coming out with Gladiator 2 soon.
Well, if he's doing it, I don't know how you would do that because he died, right? Gladiator?
Yeah, I'm not sure if did he have a son. I don't know if it has anything to do with.
No, they killed his family. Remember
Okay,
him saying
then it's more or less like it's about gladiators again. then.
uprising, almost probably an uprising,
Something like that.
because that's what was kind of happening.
That's what Spartacus is about, right?
Yeah, sure.
That's a good movie.
The old one with Douglas.
Yeah,
Or, not
Stanley
Douglas.
Kubrick.
Not
directed.
Stanley Kubrick. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Kirk Douglas.
Kirk
was,
Douglas. Yep.
Yeah.
I like Spartacus. It's the least Kubrick movie you'll ever watch
Absolutely. Yeah.
because it's very, very. The production definitely is like, look, let's keep this on track and let's not.
Cheap.
No, very impressive production, but it doesn't have the typical fingerprints as far as large scale commentary, very deep commentary. It's kind of a movie, a spectacle more than
Yeah,
the
yeah.
deep messaging you would get from Doctor Strangelove or an Apocalypse Now or even an Eyes Wide Shut. It's just very different.
Okay. Yeah.
Still a good movie though.
Well, I mean, he evolved.
Yeah, well, I think he had to make that so he could make a 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
He's like-
Once you make your bones, I think then they give you a little leeway and they'll give you bigger projects. Because 2001, I mean, I'm surprised anybody said this is a good movie. I mean, it was. I mean, but they were probably thinking, well, what's it about?
Yeah,
Well,
you can't do an elevator pitch for a movie
No,
like that.
no. It's like it's hard to explain. It would be, but it was very good.
Speaking of horror heroes, Hal is my horror hero. He tried to save the ship. Now, Bruce Campbell is my last of the 5 that I'm going to mention. If you have any additional, by all means, we can discuss them as well.
Groovy.
But Bruce Campbell, and I'm talking specifically from Evil Dead 1 and 2, though he's good in 3. First and foremost, chainsaw on the hand,
Yeah.
pretty badass.
I don't know how you do that though.
He did it.
I mean, how do you do that?
He figured it out, man. He's Iron Man. Just like,
Yeah, Yeah.
Made a suit out of a bunch of scraps.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
In Afghanistan. But he cuts off his own hand, finds a way to put his nub into a chainsaw. And I really like Evil Dead 1 and 2. It's just very over the top. The makeup is really cool.
Is Raimi... Did Raimi do those?
Yes, I believe Sam Raimi did 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. The new one that I always talk about
is Fede Alvarez.
Okay.
And he actually did another project that I saw recently that I thought was pretty good. I was like, oh man, yeah, he did Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. He did Don't Breathe and something else I saw recently that is eluding me.
Is Don't Breathe the one where they're in the house and the guy's blind?
Yeah. They try to rob him, and I haven't seen the movie, I just know.
Okay. So I saw that movie.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's pretty good.
Yeah. And Evil Dead, that Evil Dead is good, but it's different vibe-wise, and I've recommended
Is there like a humorous vibe to...
It's... So, you're not going to laugh. At least I didn't.
Well, no, I don't mean that, yeah.
Maybe if you watch it enough, it is over the top. It's just like pure... You kind of can watch it and enjoy it, as opposed to, I guess some scary movies want to make you feel the suspense.
Yeah.
It just feels completely just, let's fucking turn it up to 11, man, and crank this shit, and crazy shots where they follow someone through a house, and it's like, not shaky cam like Blair Witch shaky cam, but just like, this is fucking crazy. You know what I mean?
That's what I thought.
And let's pour blood out of the walls, and the deer on the wall, like mantle, like, you know what I mean, like a
mounted,
is gonna laugh, and the demons are crazy and floating. It's ludicrous.
Okay.
You know, not the rapper, but it's crazy.
Right. Absurd.
Yeah, it's absurdist. It's very much absurd not humor, just cinema. Yeah, cinema. And I haven't seen anything quite like that in America. I've seen other films, foreign films, that go about that. House or Hausu, a Japanese film, does that, and a lot of people, it has a huge cult following. But
what about the movies? There was a trilogy. One was Death Proof.
That's Grindhouse.
Yeah. So one of them was by Rodriguez. Wasn't that kind of No, I guess it wasn't. Maybe a little bit.
It's called Planet Terror.
Yeah.
That one I don't remember, because I've watched the Tarantino one. No, Death Proof is, what did I say? Planet Terror is the Rodriguez, and then Death Proof is the Tarantino one. They did a dual billing Grindhouse.
Was it 2 or 3?
I only remember 2.
Maybe it was only 2. All right.
Is one of your heroes from that film?
No, the one Rodriguez one I thought might be kind of an absurdist type horror movie.
I'd have to watch it again. We watched that like when it came out.
Yeah.
I don't really recall. So,
the Tarantino one, I know I'm going into the weeds, but it's good, but
for Tarantino's high bar, though, I thought it was very good, but every other Tarantino movie is...
Did Tarantino do a movie called Destiny Turns on the Radio?
No.
Was that him? That wasn't him. Okay.
He didn't direct it, at least.
Okay. I associated with him because that came out after Kill Bill, so I thought it was going to be really good. I was watching it, and I'm like, what is this thing about? It just was stupid.
He might have acted in it, because I think he likes acting, because he's in some of his own films.
He was really funny in...
Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
It's not a big part, but he's really funny. Obviously I have my phone here, so I'm going to look stuff up.
Yeah, well, let me...
I can do...
No, you look that up, but I guess I'm trying to put a button on why I thought Bruce Campbell was so good.
But he's got this... you don't even have to explain it.
Yeah, he has iconic lines, and...
Come Get Some. Is that one? Something like that?
Something like that.
Come Get
He
You
does say groovy, which I know you're not gonna like because
No, I say that sometimes.
you were one of the people who spat on the Vietnam soldiers when they came back.
No one knows that, so I don't say that.
Okay.
Yeah, he's in it.
Is Tim Roth in it as well?
Well, those guys do stuff together, huh?
Well, Tim Roth was his first, like Reservoir Dogs.
I remember him, yeah.
Yeah, he's the main guy.
Yeah. The cop. He's an undercover cop.
Yeah, he's a mole or a rat.
Mole.
Anywho, yeah, those are my 5. Do you have any additional?
No, the ones I had were Dr. Loomis, Laurie, The Exorcist.
Ooh,
The Exorcist.
That's a good
2
one.
of them. The 2 Exorcists.
So for me, dog, it's Father Caris all the way.
I know.
It's just not even a
I
competition.
have this love affair with this guy. But what was the other priest's name?
Father Marin.
He's mine. Caris was actually very, very... I mean, he was very good, but...
Caris was amazing.
Nobody, in my opinion, is the Exorcist other than... the Exorcist is Father Maris. Is that his name?
And here's why you're wrong.
No. Go ahead.
Karen was the only guy who was actually strong enough to get the demon out of Reagan.
It's all about look, baby. Right?
He looked
Marin didn't.
He looked pretty badass when he got possessed to save the girl and decided to throw himself out a window.
Well, I'm talking about the old priest.
I know.
You mean old priest and a young priest.
I know.
And the old priest is the star.
Maybe he has...
Is the exorcist.
Maybe he has the accoutrement.
Caris wasn't an exorcist. He helped.
And yet, because he had come to complete and absolute belief, he had been shown that there is depths of evil so depraved.
Evil.
Yeah, he had seen the face of true evil and was no longer at odds with if there's a God.
No, he never doubted. He stopped doubting his faith, which he was doing.
Exactly. And it was holding him back because he had everything. You know, he had everything it took to be a true hero, a true good in the world. Okay? But it took him being able to fully commit to it and knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that I've seen the face of true evil and therefore there is a true good. And in seeing that, he was willing to make the ultimate sacrifice. Now, so did Marin. But he wasn't able to. He was too weak. He was a conduit for Caris to make that final leap. He had to start the process so that Karen could finish it.
Okay, but no, they're both good. I'm not going to argue one's better. I mean, I just happen to like that character. I love that character.
I understand.
And, as you well know, I talk about the Exorcist Dominion. Mm-hmm. And there's a very good actor who plays that, which is Marin as a younger man. Mm-hmm. And it's really good because he was a priest during the Second World War.
Right.
And the Nazis came in and there was atrocities and so forth. And then he become very disillusioned. And then a situation happens and he exercises a child in Africa.
Right. Yeah, I that is maybe...
Sorry, that's a long story, but...
No, I'm glad because that opening scene, which that's where you talk about where he becomes disillusioned, is very powerful in both Dominion and... Did you know they made 2 Exorcist films that cover the same subject material?
Yes, I saw. I know. And they have a character.
Well, the guy plays the same character in both.
I know that.
Okay.
But I know there's 2 versions, and one's a little more RE rated,
right?
And the other one's a little more PG rated, kind of. And we're not that different, but I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, I don't know either. I know Paul Schrader, who wrote Taxi Driver, directed one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I don't think it's the one that you like. I could be wrong.
Well, I like them both, but I like one more so than the other.
Right.
They do the.
right.
It's a first. No, I don't know. But anyway, I think that's the first time I saw someone do the spider walk. What they call the spider walk, which is when they're bent over backwards, walking on their hands and feet.
Oh, Reagan does that in the original, but it's cut. It's,
Oh, really?
It's only in the extended cut, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. So that's the ultimate, in my opinion, ultimate hero is Caris or Marin, both, really. Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Where Caris is a really strong and brooding Batman, and Marin is a good Robin.
No, that's not how it works.
So let's put a bow on this.
Okay.
You have to choose one. Who do you go with?
Of those two, or of all of them?
Of all.
Him. Marin.
You go Marin?
Yeah.
Was there any additional people you wanted to mention?
I mean, I mentioned Loomis. Actually, the girl in Nightmare on Elm Street, I'll consider a hero.
Some people really dislike her. One of the videos I posted, they're like, something I posted. People were like, she can't act. That main
None
girl.
of them could act. Johnny Depp was in that movie.
He was.
Yeah.
He has the coolest death in maybe all of horror.
How did he die?
He's the one where the bed
Exploded.
pours blood out.
Oh. The other guy died by hanging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I always thought that just captured my imagination so much, that Johnny Depp death in Nightmare on Elm Street. He gets pulled into the bed, and then it just pours. Oh my! I know I'm not saying anything about it, just besides.
No, it was really. I mean, especially in that day. I mean, even today, that'd be considered a pretty good special effect.
When I saw that, I'm like, that is the coolest freaking thing.
Nightmare on Elm Street 1, I think is underrated. I mean, obviously it's spawned a great many others, but it was scary. I mean, there was a part in there when the lead female girl, I know I don't know her name, but you guys know who I mean, she's in class at school, and her friend is in a body bag.
I love
a clear
that scene.
body bag, and just kind of flopping around, and I'm like, wow, that was brutal.
So cool.
Yeah. Good.
Mine, I'm going to go with Bruce Campbell. That was the person I decided.
Yeah.
As we were discussing it, I'll be transparent. I did think about switching when we were talking about Blade and then Sigourney Weaver. I think it just comes down to the fact that I just like Evil Dead 1 and 2 a lot.
Yeah.
And
did you see 3? I saw 3.
I've seen every one in the series.
It's something of dark. Is it something of Army of Darkness?
Army of Darkness, yeah. I'm not mentioning it because of the 3, it's my least favorite.
Yeah.
But it's also strong enough to where it's my third favorite, which I know is going to come as a great surprise to you because you like the remake so much. And the remake's really good. It's very close. But
I haven't seen 1 and 2. I've only seen part of 3. So it's a little bit more humorous there because there's some outrageous stuff, and it's more like take the fantasy of let's just say like Mad Max set in medieval time and the macabre horror that comes with being a horror movie with I don't
the
understand why they
undead.
went back in time. That part I didn't understand.
I think even if you asked Sam Raimi, he would be like, yeah, maybe commercially it wasn't the best decision. I just think creatively he's like, look, he really does crank it up to 11. I mean, it's like just very creative, the first two, for me. On a shoestring budget. Just like, he was like 21, I think, when he made Evil Dead 1. He was a young guy. I think he was about as young as the cast when he made it. And obviously, as I edit this, I'll
look it up.
I'll make sure I'm not just speaking out my ass, but I know he was very young when Evil Dead 1 came out. And like that's why him and Bruce Campbell are still friends to this day, is because they kind of
started
together. They were able to put each other on the map. And for one, like it's the level of respect that I have for Paul Thomas Anderson as a filmmaker, because he made Boogie Nights at like 23.
Oh wow.
Like a masterpiece movie. And to me, Evil Dead 1 and 2 is great and then a masterpiece in the annals of horror. And Bruce Campbell legitimately does make those movies. I'm very surprised.
Let's do the math on this, because he was born in 59, so let's say he was 22 years old.
So I was almost right on the money.
Yeah.
My apologies, viewers, for being 1 year off.
Yeah, come on. Got to be better than that if you want to make it in the podcast world.
So those are our choices, our picks.
Yeah.
Let us know yours down below, because I think this one...
So who is your 4? Give me your 4, and don't filibuster. What you
Blade.
Do. Okay.
Does Arnold...
Yeah, if you want, sure.
Well, okay.
It's your podcast.
I'll go Caris then.
Okay.
Because I honestly... He's maybe more rightful for the choice
Okay.
than Sigourney Weaver.
I don't know if that's the right word to use there, but okay. I know you're
He's a
trying to
righteous
say.
choice.
Okay, that's what you meant. Okay.
Then Sigourney Weaver, then Bruce. If I was making a Mount Rushmore, I think that's
4.
it's hard to touch that top 4. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, so Marin, Father Marin, Sigourney Weaver,
Dr. Loomis.
Dr. Loomis, and Blade.
This one, I
Does
just
he
let
have
it
a name, or does he just call him Blade?
put me on the spot here, and
I know.
I'm sure he
Does
does.
Blade have a name?
It's been a while
he's
since
part
I've watched.
vampire. You knew that, right?
Yeah, he's a daywalker. He's half-half. Which you're not supposed to say.
No, that's
So
racially insensitive.
it is.
To vampires.
Yeah.
So, what am I looking up?
What is Blade's name in the film?
In this one, I think, at least in my case, I think you were probably well more researched than I was, but this one you can jump in, and we can jump in anytime, but this one is probably a lot more people say, what about him? What about her?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, this one I didn't research this one. I just kind of let it come to me. I was like, who do I like? And whatever came to the top of my mind, I put. So I'm sure there's some that people are going to say that I've actually watched the movie and it just slipped my mind. And I'm going to be like, oh, shit. Yeah, you're right. I actually...
His name was Eric Brooks. Or his character's name.
I think they made the right decision calling him Blade.
Yeah, Eric Brooks kind of sounds like an accountant or something. Which you wouldn't associate
It sounds
with
like a
vampires.
former New Orleans Saints quarterback that
like
flamed
third
out.
string.
Maybe got some playing time and they thought he was going to be the future,
And
but
it
just
never panned out.
didn't do it.
Right.
I'm almost positive that's an actual player. That actually happened.
No, it didn't. But could have.
Blade. Ready to die.
I was born ready, motherfucker.
Thank you very much for joining me. As
My
always,
pleasure.
it's very fun to discuss these with you. Hopefully you viewers are enjoying this as much as we enjoy making this, because I'm
How about you?
I'm gonna make this no matter what. Okay?
It's better if someone's listening.
If I stop making videos,
Yeah.
either something terrible happened or another opportunity came a knocking.
Or I just didn't want to anymore.
You know, so
So
I am happy. I'm very happy. Not only that I get to share this experience with you, but the people listening. But most importantly, honestly, the fact that anyone would be willing to listen to me
us.
just get to
Oh my
bullshit
God.
with you is really, really cool. And so
we're hoping for 1 million on this one, you think?
yeah,
Yeah.
just like, you know, donate to the channel if you can
Yeah,
figure
yeah.
out how to do that.
Because we don't know how.
I mean, I don't know how to set
In
it
the
up.
comments, tell us how we could do that, because money would be helpful. Our production values would go way up, and you'd enjoy it more. Right?
I agree.
Okay.
Very well done. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Catch you on the flippity flip.